Hello again, everybody. 7:30, Tuesday, 12th of May. Welcome back to Kay Burley at breakfast. The government's expected to extend the furlough scheme until September, but begin to taper off how much money is paid in the last half an hour. The government's expected to extend the furlough scheme until September, but begin to taper off how much money is paid in the last half an hour.
Of course, we worry about things like that. And that's one reason to look at extending the furlough scheme. But at the same time, these things have got to ultimately be affordable, and we've got to get the economy up and running as much as is possible. So it's a really difficult balance.
What he also went on to say was that the one person that you could see could be a different person every day. So it doesn't have to be like, say you're going to go and see grandma, it doesn't have to be the same person every day. You can see a different person every day, was what he went on to say.
So it's a really difficult balance.
The General Secretary of the Trades Union Congress, Frances O'Grady, joining us now. Hello to you, Ms. O'Grady. Thank you for joining us on the programme. Okay. Should specific areas get more support than others? I'm thinking about the airline industry that's been absolutely decimated.
We are encouraging them to go back to work actively now. That won't start until Wednesday, so there'll be guidance out. We've been working with the employers to make sure it can be done in a safe way.
OK, construction workers, who else?
So it's really talking about those who, if you can still work from home, that is the thing that we are advising you to do.
People like hairdressers, can't tell you how many people have been asking me about hairdressers. What do they need to do? They can't work from home, can they?
Only if the conditions are met, subject to wider monitoring, so that we only proceed in a sure-footed way. And then from the 4th of July, at the earliest, subject to the conditions, we'll look at other sectors, and that will include hospitality, but it will also include personal care.
Does that mean pubs as well? Does that mean pubs and restaurants?
They're just inherently more difficult because people are mixing together and it's difficult to maintain the social distancing.
Pubs and restaurants could start to reopen on the 4th of July.
If you can stay 2 metres apart, then we'll encourage people to use their common sense. But we do need to maintain that social distancing. If not, and people have been exceptional so far, the overwhelming majority of people have followed the guidance.
Does that mean pubs and restaurants will start to reopen in July? Because if they don't, that sector potentially is going under.
Well, we're saying in relation to the existing guidelines that if you can work from home, you still should. But for those who can't work from home, thinking particularly the construction and manufacturing sectors...
So they're going to have to wait until Independence Day to potentially get back to work, hairdressers, hospitality and the like.
We wouldn't be able to say, based on the advice we get and the monitoring we do, that we would start them at least until the 4th of July.
Yeah, but just drilling down on that, are you suggesting that pubs potentially and restaurants could...
We just don't think we're ready yet, given where we are with the virus. So we've got very clear guidance that will be coming out to give people the information that they need. You're absolutely right. So there's 3 steps. There's the modest changes we're announcing, which will take effect from Wednesday. There's the other changes for things like non-essential retail and people going back to school, particularly primary school. Well, the full detail in it will be set out in the guidance at 2 o'clock. But effectively, what we're saying is, yes, but I have seen it, but effectively what we're saying is that if you can stay 2 metres apart, as is already the case, for example, with shopping deliveries or support for the vulnerable.
OK, you understand why that's important, though, don't you, Mr. Roberts?
But as I said, our overriding goal is to make sure we protect people's health. We don't see the virus get out of control. That's why we need to stay alert.
A lot of people have been apart from their older relatives for many weeks now, and they want to be able to go around and sit in the garden with them. Stephen Kinnock previously was spoken to by police for doing that.
That's why we've got the level of this virus down to the stage we've got it at now.
Okay, out in the park, you can go out in the park and you can sit as long as you're socially distancing from one other person.
If we stay alert and we keep that social distancing that I mentioned, whatever the setting it may be, we can keep making progress and get more of the things back to normal that people would like, whether it's schools, whether it's business, whether it's socialising. But we must maintain the 2 metres apart.
Garden? Can you have somebody round? Another question that I was asked overnight. Can you have somebody who isn't part of your household round in your garden as long as you're sitting 2 metres away from them?
As we said, we've got to stay alert, we've got to monitor very carefully the progress we've made with the virus, we've got to keep getting it down, both the overall prevalence but also the transmission rate, and then we'll see where we get to. But I do think it's important to have a roadmap along the way.
As much as is possible.